Hi guys, so it's weekend number 2 of the big build on the L200. And we've been busy during the week. Paul's been extremely busy. I've been over a couple of evenings to carry on with things. So to bring up to speed as to where we're at, if you saw last weekend's video, we basically got the basics of this tray all welded together and fitted. Since then, Paul's put an epoxy primer on it and he's now painted it with chassis paint. So this now is pretty much hopefully going to remain rust free. Big thing he's been working on is the TIG welder's turned up. You'll have seen the unboxing video of that, and obviously he'll bring you up to speed further down the line as to how he's been getting on with it. But for a man who's not done any TIG welding for 25 years, he's done a cracking job of this rear. So what we've done is, if you saw the last video, you could see us trying to form this shape where we're going to have the spare wheel, we're going to have the jerry cans mounted, which will eventually be bolted to the canopy, but it's come out fantastic. So all that remains now really at the rear is to get a coat of Raptor paint on it, on the outside bits where they're going to be visible. We've also now mounted the farm lift jack down below. Paul's finished off the tray, which is going to hold this 40-litre water tank, so we're going to get some piping to finish piping that in. If I want to try and sound fancy, I would say that this design is kind of organic because it's changing a little bit again. Something occurred to me is that we've been trying to build this aluminium canopy for the storage and keep it so that when the roof tent's on top, everything is roughly in line with the top of the roof of the L200 to keep it a bit more streamlined. Also to avoid things like damage by overhanging branches and stuff when we're doing our overlanding. The problem that occurred to me as I was driving along is I suddenly thought I'm going to lose the use of 2 out of 3 of the windows on the roof tent. The reason being is that one of them is going to be basically facing this way, so I'm not going to be able to get my kind of flexible poles in to hold it open, and the other one would be facing out this way, and we've still got the awning to mount up here. So I could have compromised and maybe lost the use of one window, but I really don't want to lose the use, that's a tongue twister for you, lose the use of 2 windows. So we've had a rethink. What we're going to do now is we're going to kind of fabricate a roof rack of sorts that's going to actually sit on the roof of the L200, and we're going to mount the roof tent back on that. That's still kind of in plans at the moment. We're going to start looking at what we've got outside, bits and pieces that we can mock it up from, and we'll sort of bring up to speed as we start working on that. So truck's coming together brilliantly. Today's plan is we're going to drop off the heavy duty leaf springs that we got from Midland Springs when the vehicle was a lot heavier. Now obviously it's going to be considerably lighter for our next trip, so I've just received some standard springs again from the guys over at Midland Springs, so check them out. I'm going to put the link in the description below. Been very happy with them. So we're going to swap these out, and you'll see a link up there at the moment, which is to the video of when we previously did that, which is going to be a bit more detailed than what you'll probably see today. So what I've done so far is I've just whipped around, just made sure all the bolts are loose, which they were, because obviously we've done this job not too long ago, only about sort of 4 or 5 months ago. And we're getting some chassis supports out now so that we can first off lift the vehicle up, support it. We'll do one side at a time, obviously whip the wheels off, and then we'll start taking through the steps just to taking these leaf springs off. I'm just taking the shocks off at the moment. They can obviously come off because they're not actually physically supporting anything. These aren't too fucking bad, are they? I was a bit worried they were going to get so fucking corroded with these.
No, they don't normally rust because they're stainless, the shafts, so they're always...
I don't want to say, because I'd put, like you said there, this time leave off the...
what's it, the cable
ties? Yeah, because I was saying is, you're going to get some water in there, but then if you get some grit in there, and then it basically forms a paste, it's got nowhere to go, and it's almost like fucking sandpaper going up and down all the time.
Yeah, it wears the sealant.
Yeah, if it's open now, it can just protect it a bit, but drain stuff off, can't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right,
I'll get the wheels cracked off.
Wheels are cracked off.
So I'll jack one, I was doing that, so I'll jack that side up and you'll do. Crack the air up on the. That's it. Yay! Got a video. It's been on all the time.
Cool. Right, guys. So we're supporting the chassis, and we are now with the
Taking
jack
away to the axle.
taken away to the axle. Of course, the reason being is obviously we want to take and remove these. So if we don't support the axle, as we take these, obviously this is going to drop down.
Follow you to the ground.
Not just the ground. But if we don't support the axle, using that, of course we're supporting the chassis, this will drop down as well. We only want to basically take these off. So when we take these two bolts out, we want to drop this leaf spring away. We might have this come crashing down, and also the vehicle isn't going to do anything or go anywhere because that's supported over there. So I need to undo these basically U-bolts, take these off. Chassis shouldn't go anywhere, and then what we will do is we'll get a little bottle jack to lower these down because these are really heavy.
I remember that, they were really heavy.
I think the standard ones we might not maybe have to use the jack, but these ones are so freaking heavy. You take that bolt out, that thing is going to come dropping down.
It's almost like bone idle, isn't it? No, you're not on.
Previous video we chopped these off because because the Midland springs come with new U-bolts, but we will keep these because these are relatively new, and I've got a guy who wants to buy them. And that is all that's left of my bump stop, but fortunately I had pre-ordered a couple more from KS International.
That was far too easy.
So don't forget guys that the handbrake cables have this bracket which is basically mounted to the leaf spring. So before you actually drop your leaf spring all the way down, you need to remove this, which is actually an Allen key. If you've got the original ones, the one on the other side is knackered, so I have to basically get a P-clip and make something in order to support and hold in place this brake cable.
It was actually easier taking the spring off than it was taking the
Thing off, yeah.
lame bolt all together.
But you'll obviously, having been a Land Rover owner, you'll know this very well. It doesn't have to get easy taking stuff off after you've done it for the first time, does it? Once you've taken it apart yourself and replace something.
It's easy with the Land Rover because it's usually worn out or snapped.
Yeah. But then next time you come to do it, it's a lot easier.
Well, mine get replaced on a weekly basis.
Yeah. Similar to your gearboxes.
Karen did ask me what I wanted for Christmas. She said, do you want another gearbox just in case?
And you were like, what do you mean just in case? Of course I'll need another gearbox by Christmas.
Can I have a tip? Can I have a spare for the spare one?
You know what they say, 2 is 1, 1 is none.
Yeah. I'm just going to start getting them pretty much in stock. Spare boxes, you never know.
Chassis black.
You greased these, haven't you? It's funny enough, they're not that much lighter than the other ones. Now just got to get that axle onto the pin now.
Yeah, because the pin on the actual leaf, guys, it will basically sits in a little hole on the axle. So you've got to get everything lined up. We're going to give this quick paint before we just reassemble it all together, and then obviously put our new bump stop. Sits on there, and that's held in place then by.
Do you think that bump stop's ever going to reach the chassis?
U-bolts. I don't think so. My spell's a bit pointless, but I've got them.
You got them, so you're going to use them.
We're going to use them, yeah. We're going to put them on because it's done properly. Yeah. Bum stop.
Yeah, someone's painted it.
Yeah, put paint on it.
That's one side. Come on. Can't be that hard.
So I was trying to hold everything in place because even the last time I think we were going to fast. There you are. That's it.
I think it's now 1 minute's bad sound. Oh yeah, we're going to get that out. We did that last time.
That's the same thing. It is a what's it?
Allen key.
Allen key job. Okay guys, that's definitely made a difference on these. If you watch some of the other videos, we haven't told people we've lowered the front.
No.
So that will definitely make some difference on the suspension. Now during the week, one of the things we did do is we actually lowered or basically wound down the torsion bars because we had pretty much maxed them out. It was a very stiff ride on the front. And when you've got that big heavy winch bumper on the front, it does make for a bumpy ride. So we've wound them down about 3/4 of an inch and it's made a hell of a difference on the front. The front actually moves now. And we're having the same problem with the back. Now that all the weight has come off, which if you have watched the Pyrenees videos, you'll see just how much was actually on the back of the vehicle. Those heavy duty springs work fantastic. They really made for a good ride. But as soon as we start taking everything off in order to sort of start preparing this and deciding what we were going to do with it, the ride just got stiffer and stiffer and stiffer. So these standard springs are going to make a huge difference. We've just had a bit of a play about bouncing up and down on the car and the thing actually moves, which is great. Because there's not a whole lot of weight going to go on the back of this, apart from the actual stuff we're going to be carrying on a trip. The aluminium canopy isn't going to weigh a great deal. So tomorrow we're going to come back, we're going to do some basically some joints on the prop shaft. We've got the centre bearing that holds the prop shaft which is knackered. We're going to change that. We're going to start looking at how we're going to fabricate a roof rack to hold the roof tent on the top of the truck. It's a freezing morning here, Sunday morning. We don't do continuity, hence the reason I look all clean and shaven. I did the 3 S's this morning. So we're just fitting the water tank in now. So we've just been down a camping shop and picked up some filler pipe and the breather pipe. So we're just going to connect these up and then we're going to work out how we're going to sort of actually strap this down into the back here. So we shouldn't really be any reason why we need to access this in any way, but we can still get to it in the case that there's something wrong, we have to pull it out. So let's just drop this in.
And he's half asleep.
And I'm half asleep. Yes, it's worse.
I know it does clear because I've had it in there.
Yeah, so push it right.
No, it comes all the way back.
Right,
It comes all the way
forwards.
to you. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. Clears it now.
So, this is where you start cutting it and go round and round and round and round and round and realise you're working your way down.
Just end up with a slinky.
Yeah. The breather pipe going to clear.
Just.
Is it?
Yeah. And so we have to put a little block on the top when we put the floor in just to push that down.
A bit.
So if we set it sort of middle there, does the outgoing pipe clear the centre of the... It should just be touching.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Because we can just zip tie that to that cross member. I just need another one going so it...
So what's this one? Is that...
Well,
That's a pipe, isn't it? How much I don't squash that underneath the water feed, because that's the vacuum pipe, isn't it, that runs the diff?
yeah, it won't squash it.
Or is it
That
just
pipe.
a breather into the chassis here?
Oh, that's breather.
So that can be changed anyway, can't it?
Yeah,
Because I'm going to run that along with
the other one.
the other breather out of the way. Right, so that's all fitted. Yeah.
That's what he said.
Right, that's that all fitted. We've basically just ratchet strapped it in. So it just means it's very easy to get it out if there ever is any kind of issues with it. Obviously it would probably mean taking the canopy off, but there shouldn't really be any problems with this. So we've got our breather, got the water feed coming in, and then we're going to stick a pump on the outside here, which will basically bring water up to a tap inside the canopy. So next job. What do
Prop
I-
shaft.
Prop shaft stuff. So,
Prop shafts.
right,
Joy.
fun and games.
Do the front one because that's knackered.
Yeah.
That's definitely a snap UJ on, isn't it?
Yeah. So what we do, guys, is going to take them underneath the vehicle, and then I'll get Paul to actually show us how you identify that your UJ is gone. Because I don't know what what you're listening for, what's supposed to wiggle, what's not supposed to wiggle. And then
It's kind of easy on this one
Is it?
because I saw it before I did it.
And we've got the prop shaft centre bearing, haven't we, as well, to replace.
Yeah.
Which even I can see is absolutely shagged. But I think that's got worse, hasn't it? Since that's the Pyrenees trip hasn't helped with that, because that was never quite that bad, but it is now pretty much shot to pieces.
Oh, shot to bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump underneath, guys. We'll take the camera down there and show you what we're looking at.